Here is my lazy, low budget resource way of providing power to a unit in the field. So, you know, in this video, I'm going to break it down to you in regards to why I chose the things that I chose and the benefits to them. I'll also show you the snippet resource requirements to produce these items, and also maybe give you a little bit of a tip where, you know, where this setup probably would not do very well.
How's that working out for you?
Not very well.
Not very well.
It just would not work. So this is the solution that I'm talking about. Right? What do we got going on over here? We've got some batteries, we've got solar panels, and then we've also got some wind turbines. So it's like, okay, well, you know, what's going on here? Like, why did I choose this? Well, you know, there could be different ways you can do this. You can print out RTGs, like I've said, but you know, the RTG process, crafting process, it's pretty extensive because it's a top tier item. You got to get nano carbon alloy, and that's a beast alone just to do. So I said to myself, there's got to be a quick, easy way to do this because I just want to deploy this. I don't want to, you know, worry about it too much. You know what I mean? And I just don't want to spend a lot of time just to get this thing operational. So, you know, those are pretty much the reasons why I opted to go this way. Now, you know, it's all sitting on a storage silo, and the storage silo is sitting on a medium platform A. So, you know, depending on where you are in the game, you might know this, you might not know this, but when you have items stacked on a storage silo, the items act as one. So whether you have a whole bunch of batteries, a whole bunch of solar panels, or a whole bunch of like, you know, a whole bunch of like wind turbines, you know, when that's all attached to a storage silo and the silo is on a platform, well, whatever is being done on those attachments, it acts as one unit, and then you can provide power to whatever device that you want to provide power to, you know, via the cable, like as you can see right here. So early game stages, I did not know this. So for me, I had a whole bunch of stuff sitting on the ground, daisy chained, connecting one to the other. And then eventually I was like, well, wait a minute, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a more efficient way to do this. Right? And then, you know, I discovered like, hey, like platforms, that's what the platforms are for. So, you know, that's why I've kind of eventually come up with this particular setup. You know, people could say, well, you could use other platforms. Why are you using such a small one? Well, you know what? For me, I just wanted a small footprint. You know, I could have used, you know, a large platform A or B or any of the others. But for me, I just wanted something small, portable, that I could just, you know, just pop out there. And if need be, if I need to move it, maybe it'd be a little bit easier just to move it around because, you know, you can pick it up and move it around like easy enough. You know, and I understand you can do that with almost every platform, but I just wanted a small footprint, just, you know, just to basically help me out a little bit better. So it's like, well, why would you want to move it around? Well, there's a possibility that, you know, the auto-extractor here, the resource could be depleted. So, you know, let's just say there was, you know, there's no more left here. Maybe there's some more over here. Then you would just pick it up and move it over. But I wanted something where I can just pick up one thing, move it over easy peasy, you know what I mean, and not have to worry about picking up multiple items. So that's pretty much the thinking behind this setup and why I chose to do, you know, what I did in regards to this. So, you know, so now let's get into the resources. What does it take to basically make the batteries, the solar panels and stuff like that? I'm only going to do the batteries, solar panels, and the wind turbines in this case. So what does it take to do all this stuff? Well, this is what we got going on right now. I'll just take this off, make it easier. So let's start with the battery. All it takes, if you look over the right hand side, recipe, 1 zinc. Now I don't know what the raw material is to generate zinc, but you take the raw material, you put it in a smelting furnace, and you come out with zinc. Then, as it says, you put it in the backpack and you just print it out. So it's one item, only one item to get this particular product, and it's easily printed in the backpack. So we've got the small battery, then we've got the wind turbine. So again, the recipe is ceramic. Now this one I know, ceramic is pretty much you get clay. So you get clay, you put it in the smelting furnace, and then you get ceramic. Again, take it, put it in the backpack, boom, you got yourself a wind turbine. And then we go to, there it is, the solar panel. We go to the solar panel. This one's copper. I don't know what the what the one raw element is for this one, but it's copper. And then again, same thing, smelting furnace. You take the copper, put it in your backpack, boom, and you print out yourself a small solar panel. So as you can see, these resources, they're not very complicated. They're very easy to obtain. So, you know, it's one way of just to get, you know, these things out quickly, set them up in a way that's, you know, efficient for you, and then deploy it to the, you know, to provide power to whatever unit that it is that you've got going on that you wanna power up. So, I mean, it's like I said, it's easy peasy, lazy, you know, resource friendly budget way of where you can get power and provide it to something on, you know, like in this case, an auto-extractor. Now, as I said earlier, there are certain instances this might not work. Specifically, let's just say, let's go to the I guess the top end of it, which is the planet Atrox. This setup would not work there. Atrox has very little solar, very little wind. So you would not be able to charge these batteries with those elements because it's almost non-existent there. It's very low. So on planets like that, instances like that, yeah, you're going to need like some kind of, you know, renewable energy resource, an RTG or a couple of, you know, smaller versions of the RTGs. You know what I mean? You're gonna need something along those lines on those planets. So depending on where you are, look up the planet and look up how, like, the quality of the wind and solar power. That's also very important to say, like, well, you know, maybe on certain planets there's very little wind, but there was a crazy amount of like solar, like sun. So instead of having, you know, these wind turbines here, as you can see moving along, you would have the whole thing populated with solar panels and maybe some batteries. Or maybe you wouldn't need the batteries at all. Maybe you can populate the entire thing with solar panels. Like, I don't know, depending on the planet, you know, that could be it. So look up the planet, figure out what the wind and solar, I guess you could say, situation is, and then design your makeshift little, I guess you can say, power station, you know, to maximize what's there. See, this is Silva, so it's not that bad. Silva's got an equally amount of solar, an equally amount of wind, I believe. So in my case, I'm getting the best of both worlds. So that allows me to basically double down on stuff like this. So, you know, this is pretty much how I get around like providing power without having to go deep into the resource intensive like items and to sort of, you know, just do something lazy, resource, like, you know, resource friendly to create like a little power station. So but that's just me though. You know, I'm leaving this, I'll open the floor up to you guys now. Comment below and let me know, what ways do you have in regards to doing something similar like this? You know, I just came up with this. You know, I'm pretty sure there's like, you know, 10 different ways to do the exact same thing in this game, you know, so I'd like to know, like, you know, what's your tip? How are you doing this? Have you basically come up with a better design? I would really like to know, because you know me, man, like, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it for sure. So please do comment below and let me know, you know, what's your situation, how are you doing it, you know, and yeah, I'll definitely check it out. So, you know, before I really end this video, I just wanted to say, first off, if you reached this far, thank you. Thank you for giving me a valuable time. Just the fact that you reach this far in this video, right? It's going to help me a lot. It's going to help me a lot in regards to, like, you know, YouTube stuff in the back end, or your Instagram or TikTok or whatever, you know, the platforms, right? They look at stuff like that. So thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. Thank you for all the likes, you know, the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, you know, the subs. It's all greatly appreciated, you know, given the fact that I'm a new channel, pretty much a new channel, and I'm an ex-gamer returning back to gaming after being off the grid for a decade, and now I'm just having so much fun playing, you know, all these amazing games now, that type of thing, you know, and I'm just having a really really good time, a blast, you know, playing them, you know, and just providing these tips that, you know, I have felt like, you know what, I wish somebody had shared this with me when I first started. So this is pretty much what I'm doing. Hopefully you found this, you know, yeah, I guess educational. Hopefully you walked away with some tidbit, some nugget of like, oh, that is cool. Didn't know that. If so, you know what? Thank you and you're welcome. You know, hopefully it helps. So that's it. That's all for now, folks. Thank you for giving me your valuable time. And as always, be good, be safe, and I'll see you in the future.